If you're trying to be successful in the music industry as an artist, there are a hell of a lot of things to think about. And on this channel, we focus on a lot of different things all the time, and sometimes we forget what the most important part of making music is, and that is making good music. So what actually makes a song good? Many artists feel that if they write a song that is technically complex or otherwise hard to play, that automatically makes it a good song. This is not the case. Some artists believe that if they use overly complex chords and music theory to create their song, that makes a good song. That is not the case either. Some people feel that as long as they write a catchy song with a nice melody, that makes it a good song. That is not the case either. Musical ability does not directly equate to songwriting ability. There is that famous song by the band, I believe they're called Dragon Force. They have, I forget what the song was called.
Through the fire and
that one.
The flames.
It was on Guitar Hero and it was just like for like 20 minutes. Or however long the song is, it wasn't 20 minutes. And many guitarists will admire the talent it takes to create a song like that. But does that make it a good song? No, it doesn't. Just because you have written something that is hard to play, or you like the way your hand feels when you play it, that doesn't make the song itself good.
It's like Flight of the Bumblebee. It's a good exercise, but it's not actually that...
I consider Flight of the Bumblebee to be one of like the shittest orchestral pieces, because it's just like...
It's just what
scattered. Yeah, but the thing that makes a good song is the core thing that music is all about. A good song makes the listener feel emotion. So music is all about emotion. That is why music was created in the first place. It was to express emotion and to bring people together so they can all feel a certain way together. And that is, at its essence, that is the purpose of music. So you can write the most complex and intricate song in the world, and if it lacks emotion and sincerity, then it's not going to connect with people. If you want people to actually start following you as a fan, then your music has to connect with them. And regardless of what emotion that is, your music needs to make people feel something. And if it doesn't, then it has failed. This can be anything from a sad ballad that makes people feel sad, or a really energetic punk song that gets people riled up and ready to go. If your song doesn't convey its desired emotion in the right way, then it's sort of on a sort of generic wavy path of, oh, I'm not really landing anywhere. You need to pick a theme for your song and convey it as best you can. Understanding the difference between a song being technically well written and a good emotional song is what makes the difference between a good musician and a good songwriter. I'm not going to teach you how to make your song emotional, because there is no one definitive answer of how to make a song emotional. But there are two guidelines that I will give you that I advise that you follow when you're writing a song. The first one is a song has to be authentic. If you write a song about a really sad experience that you have never personally experienced, then there's a chance it's going to come off as insincere. If you want to write a song that really relates to somebody, then you have to speak from a first-hand experience. You have to write about what you know. I know that's a cliche, but it is kind of true. If you have gone through a specific experience in your past that has made you feel strongly in any way, write about that and use the nuance that experience gave you and put it into your song and make it feel unique. This sort of personal touch will make the song sound authentic and will make sure you're not just treading the same ground that's already been tread.
You see this a lot with people when they're first starting out, and the first song that they write is the most generic love song ever, because they haven't gone through that experience yet, so the thing they're writing is just the most generic thing.
You find that people at different ages tend to write about different things, like Blink-182, for instance. I used to love Blink-182 as a teenager because they reflected teenage experiences. They reflected, like, I don't know, just generally
kind of pissing about.
Yeah, being a teenager and that kind of shit. But Blink-182 are now in their 40s, are they?
Well into their 40s.
Okay, and they've recently released an album that has tried to encapsulate what they were writing about back then. What made them popular in the first place.
One of their music videos was in high school.
And it doesn't fucking work because they're like 45, and we know for a fact that these people have now gone through experiences that have changed their opinions on what they've written about. People change throughout their lives, and you need to be... And as a musician, you need to be reflecting that as you write music. Like, take Arctic Monkeys for another example. Their first album was very sort of indie punk garage, oh, we're writing about going out in Sheffield, blah, blah, blah. But their newest album is fucking, it could be a completely different band, because it is a completely different band. They've gone through a lot and they have changed as people.
They couldn't talk about going out in Sheffield Town nowadays
No,
because
'cause they
they've
don't live
done.
there. Be authentic. Talk about what is real. And the second tip that I'm going to give you is, if you are talking about a subject that has been talked about a lot, try and go at it from, again, a personal angle. Say if you're talking about, I don't know, what's a fucking generic thing that people always write songs about? A breakup, for instance. If you want to write a song about a breakup, that even sounds boring, me just saying it. If you're going to make it authentic and actually relatable, it has to bring something new to the table that hasn't been brought to the table before. Portray what you're saying in a unique way by using your personal experience. And if you don't do that, it's going to come across as cliche. It's going to be the same thing that's been done a million times before, and it won't make your listeners feel anything because they've already heard it a million times. This is why the music industry is so saturated, because everyone just writes songs about things that have been written about before and don't have an original take on it. Like, pop punk is a really bad genre for this. Like, we used to be guilty of this when we were in a pop punk band. We wrote songs that reflected the exact same emotion in the exact same way as existing songs. And
You're just adding to the shit.
yeah, you need to be original, and you need to fucking funnel some personality and life into the music that you make.
Imagine how shit and generic all the fucking Hollywood films are, that's just the same shit all the time. Imagine all the Adam Sandler films, right? If you're doing generic lyrics to your songs, you're making Adam Sandler films. Sorry.
So, if you want to inject some authentic emotion into your music, you have to be true to what you're writing about. You have to write about experiences that you have had, or feelings that you have had. You can't write about things that you don't know anything about. So many teenagers will write a song about, like, massive heartbreak or big political issues or whatever, and it won't resonate with people because it sounds insincere. To create emotion, you have to be sincere in your music. And please, just please do it. Let's make some original music that connects with people and isn't just adding to the same pile of shit that we've seen a million times. Let's just make some fucking good music. Make some original music, please. Please. I'd really like it.